Welcome to Bitboy Crypto, the largest channel in all of the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure to smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Guys, we're joined by a very special guest, one of my favorite guys out there to watch on YouTube. Been watching him since before he had 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're going to have a special guest segment today for the first 20 minutes, and we're going to roll on to a regular episode. Crypto Jeb, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much, man. How are you guys doing? Shout out to Bitboy. Everybody who is new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Just past 500K subs, became the largest crypto channel. Shout out to you, my friend.
Appreciate it. Well, it's all thanks to the community.
Absolutely.
You know, we've got such a great community here that we've developed, and, you know, it's been wonderful to watch. But you guys also make sure we got a link. We have it in the description, I believe, where you guys go subscribe to Crypto Jeb's channel as well. I've mentioned him several times on the channel because I believe it's really hard to kind of manage the fundamental and technical side of crypto and Bitcoin. I think you do a really good job with that.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what we've been working in and specializing in for the last 3 years, and I think we've got a good system going, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started with first topic today. We're going to talk about Bitcoin just hit 50K.
Yeah.
What is the significance of that, and what does it mean? So just initially, like when you woke up this morning, or I don't know if you're a degenerate like me and you check your phone all night, every hour. What was your thought? What was your thought when you woke up and saw that it hit a new all-time high?
Man, I just thought, wow. I got into the cryptocurrency space when Bitcoin was trading at $2,900, guys. I remember when everybody thought $10,000 was a high price target for Bitcoin. And now if Bitcoin were to go back to $10,000, everybody would lose their heads and FUD out of all of their investments. Guys, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million. These are the kind of price targets that people have been talking about for years. So the fact that we broke to $50,400 and some change just a couple of hours ago is a huge step forward for Bitcoin, and people are going to start seeing those kind of movements, and they're going to start to trust Bitcoin when they see markets moving that way and more people stepping into the space. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been phenomenal to watch what happened and to think about where Bitcoin was compared to where it is now. I mean, it's so insane. Like I remember when, you know, the first time I bought Bitcoin, it was $12. And of course I had no idea what it was going to be down the road. So, okay. So I woke up this morning. So here's kind of what happened. I had a Bitcoin trade going for the last few days. I got liquidated on Sunday. Sunday's my liquidation day. Every time I've been liquidated for a large amount, it's always on Sunday. And you would think I would learn my lesson, right? But I don't. And so I immediately went back in and, you know, watched it last night in the middle of the night. I kind of got out of that trade. Maybe a little premature as it went all the way to 50,800. Did you see the drop that it had? The giant candle on the 5-minute chart. What was your thoughts when you saw that?
I was watching that, and I'm actually glad you brought that up because we sat down. We start work at 7:30 so that we can start planning our live streams at 7:30. So we sat down, and right when we sat down is when it did that, if you look on the chart. So I was watching it live, and I look over at my team, and I'm like, guys, it just hit $50,000. And then 6 minutes later, I'm like, guys, it just dropped 4% in 6 minutes. So we actually talked about that in our planning today. What I think we need to take from that is we need to look at that market movement. We need to realize, hey, we just hit $50,000. There's a lot of exits right there. A lot of people have set their trades up the correct way by having stop losses and price targets, and their price targets are sitting just below and sometimes just above $50,000. So the reason we rejected from that 4% that quickly is because a lot of people took profits. The fact that we rejected from that, pulled back $2,000 and bounced very quickly is actually a sign that the bulls are still in control and that the market is very healthy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so I decided this morning I was going to play around with a 100x trade. I never trade 100x. I've only done a 100x trade like once or twice, and it got liquidated in like a minute, you know?
Yep.
But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take like, you know, like maybe 250,000 contracts and throw it in, try to catch up. You know, I caught that thing right in the middle of that 5-minute, but it literally, I hit execute on the trade, and I was literally liquidated before I even looked up the computer screen.
Oh, no.
So it was fine. I was just doing a test.
Yeah.
I try to test things for my people. You know, like I would never, ever suggest anybody trade 100x. I'm sure you wouldn't either.
I would definitely not.
No, it's super dangerous.
200x. That's a joke. Don't use 200x.
What do you trade with, Jeb? What do you trade with?
I try and keep it around 5 to 10x because first of all, most of my position in cryptocurrency, I keep in investment. But when I trade, I try and keep it around 5 to 10x because quite frankly, if you can't make a ton of money with 10x, you need to study technical analysis and how to trade because that's where it's going to come down to is your knowledge. Don't let leverage be your crutch.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I think I like 25 to 30. I'm a little more degen than most people, but I actually, this trade I got liquidated on, I was on 50 and then I made it all back on 50. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try 100. I just like to test it for the people. I know it's very irresponsible.
No, hey, I think testing things is great. You need to get that experience and build up that understanding of the market. That's great.
Yeah. So speaking of understanding the market, so Bitcoin hit 50K.
Yep.
Where do you think it goes from here? Do we flip 50K into support, or does this become like a heavy resistance? Do we end up going down? I think kind of targets to the very bearish side or somewhere around 45K, something like that. What from a technical standpoint do you see on the charts?
Great question. So, all right. So I have my chart up here. This is on the 1 hourly chart. If you guys look at Bitcoin, you're going to find that there is a trading channel right now. We have an uptrending level of resistance right here, and then we have an uptrending level of support right here. This is set by these lows down here, and it's set by these highs up here. If Bitcoin wants to stay in this trading channel, it needs to stay above this price over here, which my thing's in the way. That's sitting around $49,000. And if it breaks out, it needs to break above that $50,500 level. What I think is going to happen here is that Bitcoin's going to keep ping-ponging around in this trading channel as it continues, and we're going to see a big breakout to one direction sometime in the next 7 days or so. The thing is, Bitcoin has been consistently moving to the upside and slightly sideways and almost a bull flag. I think we need a major news story, like some big bearish event or big bullish event to break this. We've seen very low volatility, very low volume. Yes, we are bullish, but the trend is not very strong. I think we need something to break this. So it's kind of hard to tell where exactly Bitcoin's going to go right now because we're in uncharted territory. The fundamentals would say bullish. The technical also say bullish, but there are some warning signs that we may pull back. If we do, this uptrending level of support, this one, and our support zone down here around $41,000 to $42,000 are good places where we might pull back to.
Yeah, and I would say from a fundamental perspective, the really interesting thing to think about is, it's something we're going to be talking about a little bit later after our interview's done, talking about MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor.
Yep.
And, the interesting thing about this is Michael Saylor, they just bought, I think it was $6 million worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly what it is on the chart. Actually, I got it right here. Let me just take a glance at it here. So I have it so I don't get it wrong. They just bought, they just announced a $600 million buy. I don't know if it's actually done yet or not.
Wow.
But the thing is that every time Michael Saylor has announced or has bought Bitcoin, it's been a bottom. We haven't gone below his price points wherever he's bought. There's actually a chart that Chris from Crypto came up with. It showed all of his announcements and buys, and it's always at a place you want to get in. So, I tend to think that we are going to move to the upside. I think we could go back down to 45,000, possibly at the bottom of that channel.
Yep.
But I think we are going to get to 50,000. I think we are going to end up, going to the upside of that. Every time Bitcoin's been at this point, it's breaking the upside, kind of like you said. How do you see the fundamentals there working out?
I think the fundamentals are incredible, man. We're looking at someone called Andrew Yang, who is running for president in America. He's running for the mayor of Miami. He's extremely bullish on Bitcoin. He wants to try and turn New York City into like a crypto capital of the world. We see the mayor of Miami. I said Miami. I meant New York City. Yeah. He's running for the mayor of New York City. The mayor of Miami is allowing his employees to start taking pay in Bitcoin, along with other Bitcoin programs they're running, being rolled out. We saw Elon Musk and Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. We see PayPal stepping into the space. We see them launching integration with Venmo, which is a massive mobile app for payments. We see them starting to integrate Bitcoin in that. We're seeing huge adoption on every single front. There's a concept I've talked about for years on the channel that any of my subscribers will hear many times. I talk about something I call the underlying intrinsic value of Bitcoin. Of course, the only real way that we can value Bitcoin is what is it trading at. But we can have this kind of nebulous concept in our mind of what should Bitcoin be trading at. We can look at how Bitcoin's moving, and then we can kind of get an idea of what it should be trading at. Based on these incredible fundamentals, Bitcoin should be trading where it's trading right now, and it should be trading even higher because we're seeing the dominoes start to fall of major institutions stepping into the cryptocurrency space, massive amounts of buying pressure going on, massive amounts of bullishness in the space because whales are jumping in. The fundamentals look incredible right now, in short. It's absolutely insane. I think we are in like the late 90s, early 2000s era of the internet adoption right now, guys. That's where I think we are.
Yeah, I mean it's starting to shape up somewhere like that. Maybe this maybe when this bull run ends, it'll be like the .com boom.
And hey, man, your channel is proof of that, by the way. Shout out to you. You've gotten 220,000 subscribers in the last month. That is evidence enough that retail is starting to get on board. That may be a record in crypto. I don't know if anybody's ever gotten that many subs in a crypto channel before. That right there is a fundamental you should be looking at, is the growth of crypto YouTube channels.
Yeah. I think that is something that we've seen for sure, is the channel has grown, and we like that.
Absolutely.
But the thing that I would say, Willie Woo just came out and made a tweet, who's one of these maxis that I may or may not like. And, he said that, over the last 4 weeks, it's been very evident that the retail traders are here. And you're right. You look at the growth of my channel, for instance, but your channel is no slouch. I mean, you're about to hit 100K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how much were you at kind of about a month or two ago, right? I mean, you had to have had 20 or 30 at least this month, right?
So we ended the year around 50,000. We're at 73,000 now, guys. So we got we got 11,000 subscribers in January. We've gotten about 3,000 or 4,000 so far this month. So we're growing faster than we've ever grown before also. There's just a huge amount of retail coming into the space. We talk about institutions being the one driving this market, but retail isn't slouching either, guys. Keep that in mind also.
Yeah, I think that the retail has got to be there. I mean,
it has to be.
We saw this with Wall Street Bets, like how incredibly powerful the small guy can be. But yeah, so let's talk about one other thing before we move on to the next topic here. I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about fundamentals and technicals, I want to ask you about Ethereum. What are your thoughts on Ethereum? I know we had you on to talk about Bitcoin, but it really seems like it stalled out like very, very hard.
Yeah. So Ethereum's one thing that we've been talking about a lot here on the channel. Everybody on my channel just loves when I talk about it, so we've been talking about it a lot. Ethereum's actually in a very similar position. So our Ethereum chart looks something like this. Don't worry about this, guys who are watching this. There's a lot here. All I want to bring your attention to is this uptrend right here and this uptrend right here. This is our support. This is our resistance uptrend. This is what we have to break through if we want to continue rallying on Ethereum. This is the 1 hour Ethereum over US dollar chart on Bitfinex. This is our uptrending level of support. In the same way that Bitcoin is in this upwards trading channel and it's continuing to make moves, so too is Ethereum. Just because Ethereum isn't doing this massive movement and rallying like 20, 30% in 3 or 4 days, that does not mean that Ethereum's not healthy, guys. Ethereum is very healthy. It is stalling out over the last few days, but I actually think that's healthy. I think the market needs to stall out sometime. I think the market needs to consolidate and lock in gains and build support up here so that we can lay a foundation for Ethereum to go even higher. I actually think this is a very healthy thing for Ethereum because long term, if we ever need to pull back and find support, we will find it at $1,700 to $1,800 instead of having to pull back to $700 or $800 because that's the only place our support is. Guys, in the exact same way that Bitcoin has extremely strong fundamentals right now, Ethereum does also. Ethereum 2.0 hopefully will be launching relatively soon. Yes, the gas fees are high, but also, yes, Ethereum has an absolute ton of adoption going on right now. It has a ton of development going on. It has a lot of attention, massive resources, and it's the foundation of the decentralized application environment, and DeFi is being built on the back of it. So yeah, Ethereum has stalled out a little bit over the last 7 days or so. Fundamentally speaking, things look fantastic. I am a big investor in Ethereum, and I think it's a great project. So those are my opinions on that.
What do you think about the gas fees?
I think the gas fees are the same thing that we ran into. You've been here for a long time also. Do you remember in 2017 when Bitcoin transaction fees jumped to like $53 a transaction?
It was insane. Days.
It was nuts. It took days to send a transaction. People thought they had lost their Bitcoin. The gas fees is a big problem on Ethereum. The thing is, though, guys, Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though they are decentralized, they do also receive updates. They do have people working on these projects, and gas fees are one of the things that are being worked on very diligently. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of developers working to help that along, help to bring those gas fees down by integrating updates like Ethereum 2.0, moving to that proof of stake system. And also, guys, by the way, Ethereum isn't the only one of these decentralized application protocols. You have Cardano and Polkadot in the background of your video, so you understand how valuable Cardano and Polkadot are because they're a second generation for Ethereum. I'm not saying get out of Ethereum. I am invested more in Ethereum than I am in those projects, but I want you guys to understand one thing is that there's not just one company that makes graphics cards. There's not just one company that makes cars. There are companies that make all of those things. There's 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Polkadot, Cardano, and Ethereum can all live in harmony and fulfill slightly different purposes. So maybe Ethereum's gas fees are going to lead some of that market share away from it to Cardano and Polkadot, but I still think Ethereum's a fantastic project that, again, has a ton of adoption and a ton of funding.
Okay, so let's end it with this here.
Cool.
let's end it with what is your prediction for Bitcoin? I mean, I talk about a 6-figure Bitcoin. I think it's pretty much a slam dunk that it's going to happen.
Yeah, I do too.
What are you seeing there?
So I like to be I like to be kind of conservative with my calls, although so first things first, I'll tell you my prediction straight up. I think a Bitcoin will be going to $100,000 in the next 12 to 18 months. That's my prediction. Now to back that up, I try to be a little bit more conservative with my predictions because I don't want people betting the farm on Bitcoin. I want to make sure people are being responsible. So to be honest with you, I think it's probably going to happen in the next 6 months. I'm extending that time frame a little bit because I don't want people to go all out. I don't want people to sell their house and take out a second mortgage on their house and sell their car and their kids and everything and go crazy. However, I do think Bitcoin's going to a 6-figure price valuation very, very soon. We're seeing huge fundamental development like we already talked about.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I definitely believe we will get a 6-figure Bitcoin this year. But interesting thing to hear you talk about that is, so you don't necessarily believe the bull market will end at the end of this year. I mean, because to me, it's either it happens in it's February. It either happens in the next 8 months, or it doesn't happen for 4 years.
Yeah, so this is a conversation we've had around at the office a lot, and the reason we talk about it is because, everybody here invests somewhat in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They work for a crypto YouTuber, right? So the thing is, we have a cycle in the history of markets where we go into a bull market for 2 years, we go into a bear market for a year, and then we consolidate in an accumulation phase for 6 to 12 months. That's been the cycle ever since the beginning. However, those market cycles were a very young market. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies was not mass adopted. It was in the infant stage. We had a lot of innovators. If you look at the adoption curve, the metrics of that, the first 2.5% of people to adopt a new technology, they're called the innovators. Those innovators were getting into cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency was much more volatile. As we start to get mass adopted, I actually think that cyclical nature of Bitcoin may start to tone down a little bit, and we might not see the same 2-year bull market, 1-year bear market, 6-month accumulation phase cycle continue forever. It's something that we just don't know because Bitcoin's never been here before. So to be honest with you, Ben, I think that we may see Bitcoin enter some kind of bear market in the next 12 months. But to be honest with you, we're also moving into a new era of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's almost like we're moving into the second phase of mass adoption of Bitcoin. I think that mass adoption is starting. So it's really hard to tell if it's going to do that, to be honest with you. What do you think?
Yeah. So for me, I think people were saying the same thing in 2017. I mean, if I go back to that,
that's true.
If I go back to that time, what's so funny to me is one thing I like to do is go to Google News and I like to search articles from 4 years previous, compare what they were thinking during that cycle. And it's just so amazing to me to see that they all thought, the same thing. Like this time it's different. You go back 8 years, it's the same thing. This time is different. Nobody knew. Here's the narrative. It's always nobody knew about Bitcoin, but now everybody does.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I understand.
I think a lot of the prices going on right now is absolutely people that are getting hyped on the market and they're throwing money in. However, what I wasn't necessarily saying we're not going to see a massive bear market. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see that massive bullishness start to taper off, and we're going to start trading sideways a little bit more and more consistent gains. In the same way the stock market, you see it rally about 8% year over year. I think we're going to see something similar start to happen in Bitcoin, where we don't just rally 500%, pull back 70%. We might rally 100%, pull back 20. I think we're going to start seeing less volatility. So we might see a bear market, but it might not be as severe as the one we saw in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much mimics, what I believe, which is we are going to go through a bear market. It will still be bad.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It won't be as bad.
Yeah.
I think instead of like Bitcoin going 85% down, it might go 60% down or 50% down. That's kind of what the volatility would be lessened on the bottom end. But one of the exciting things about Bitcoin cryptocurrency is that volatility, because it gives people that are watching the stream right now the chance to make life-changing money. And if we get to where it's like the stock market and it's not,
absolutely,
going through the roof and then shooting back down, then it's taking away that ability for it to shoot through the roof again. So, I would just really encourage everybody that's watching the stream or this video to just know, like, this isn't going to last forever. The ability to make money like this is not going to last forever. And, so in my opinion, get it while you can get it. So Jeb, thank you so much for joining us today on the stream. We've appreciated having you on. I think we had a few audio issues going on, but I think hopefully we're going to be putting something on your channel as well, correct?
Awesome. Yes, sir. We'll be uploading this over on the Crypto Jeb channel. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, so if you guys, if the audio wasn't perfect, you guys can go watch it on Crypto Jeb's channel a little bit later. So you guys can check in the description for his link. Make sure you subscribe to Jeb. He's a guy I personally watch. I personally watch Jeb a good bit. So yeah, definitely thank you for coming on. And Jeb, we will talk to you later.
Talk to you later, buddy. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.